Hello, Assalamu alaikum, and warm greetings. Today, I would like to present my perspective and my response on image 2 that has been sent by Miss Azza from the subject of professional communications. Now, before I begin, I would like to introduce myself with my name and my student ID number. Be warned, my student ID number is pretty long, it's a mouthful, and definitely hard to remember. My name is Anas Ahmed, and my student ID number is 2021 0902 0033. Now, let's move on to the presentation itself. A quick disclaimer, the reason why this video is not edited, nor was it enhanced by any software, is because I want to stay true to the nature of the assignment, where the response should be spontaneous and on the fly. Now let's begin the presentation. I would like to take a quick scan, a quick look on the image itself to see what is going on and to kind of search for multiple key visuals. Looking at the image, I have to separate it into three separate categories. The first one is definitely the speaker himself, followed up by the audience, and lastly, the setting. Now, talking about the speaker himself, I can tell that he's well groomed, he carries a nice big smile, and his skin is of a darker complexion. Talking about his smile, smiling is a good indicator of being in a state of a friendly nature. When someone smiles and you look at them, they have this friendly demeanor that makes you feel like they are more open towards conversation or basic social contact. Followed up with his well-groomed status. Followed up by his well-groomed status, I would definitely say that he's a man who is charismatic, confident, and has a high level of self-esteem. Let's move on to the audience. The audience are applauding him, which means they are participating in his speech. They come from various backgrounds, looking at the type of skin color, so it means that the audience is diverse in nature, and it seems like they're all wearing a suit. This could mean that the setting itself is in a professional setting where only professionals are able to come and listen to his speech. And the last category is the setting itself or location. Why I'm saying this, or why I chose this as its own separate category, because of the podium that's in the center. Usually a podium is not really used for, I would say, simple speeches or things like that. Podiums are usually used for official government announcements that we see on live TV, or speeches towards a large or I would say large and maybe diverse crowd. So let's move on to the reasoning behind it, or the state of the image itself. Now, I see that the audience are applauding him, supporting him, and definitely participating in the speech. Now, this could mean that either the audience are really interested in what he has to say, or the speaker himself was able to lay out his message loud and clear. I think I would have to give props to the speaker, because rarely do the audience come to such an event and applaud anyone who is not speaking in a manner that seems interesting. So I would definitely give the point to the speaker himself. The reason being is because of his demeanor. Like I mentioned earlier, his big smile, the fact that he's well groomed, and also because of his, I would say his demeanor overall. His hair is well groomed, which means that he takes care of himself, and the smile, it just shows that he has great confidence in himself. On top of that, I would say probably because of the way he laid out his message. There are a few elements to get your message across. One of it is through speaking, writing, or body language. He probably had both of these. He probably had two of these, which was body language and the ability to speak really well, as the two main factors on why he was able to get the audience to applaud him. Followed up with the diverse nature of the audience. It just proves that he is able to attract a large audience, a diverse audience, a diverse audience, which means his message is clear. Rarely do you see people that are able to lay out their message towards other people from different background, ethnicity, race, religion, so on and so forth. But I also have to give props to the audience themselves. The audience themselves were actively participating and actively listening to the speech that he was giving, which could mean that it was a two-way street, I guess, where two parts of they are just basically two sides of the same coin, where one is speaking while the other is listening. Because if he's speaking and the audience were not listening, it's not going to make a difference whether he was a great speaker or not a great speaker. But the fact that the audience were also listening could probably be the reason why they are applauding him after his speech. On top of that, because of the nature of the site or location or setting, I would say he's a man with high levels of influence. He could be a politician, or he could be an influencer of some sort, maybe an actor or a motivational speaker. That could be maybe the reason why that he is on the podium speaking, and the reason why he has such high levels of confidence, charisma, and I guess just overall proper body language. To sum it up, when it comes to communication, I would say the four most important things, or three most important things, is definitely the way you speak, the way you speak, followed up by the message that's given. Hopefully you can make the message loud and clear. And finally, the act of listening. Without these three elements, it would be very hard to communicate with different individuals. Now, in regards of speaking, he kind of checked out most of that in terms of his body language. Unfortunately, there's no audio in this, so I cannot tell if he's speaking in a certain manner that makes him more understandable or relatable. But looking at the image of the audience applauding him, I dare say he might have been very persuasive in the way he talked. His body language was giving off positive signs in terms of being well groomed and the fact that he was smiling. Being well dressed is another reason why. It could be the reason why the speaker was confident, because when you feel good, overall you will make other people feel good. The next point, which is the message, I would probably say that because of his demeanor and probably the way he talked, he was able to lay out the message loud and clear where everyone could understand, which is why even his diverse crowd was able to applaud him after his speech. And finally, the act of listening. Well, the speaker is not responsible for this, but he can play a part in getting more people to listen to what he has to say. If he's articulate and he is able to lay out his message clear, then it'll only be natural for the other party that's playing the act of listening to tune in and listen to what he has to say. I'm actually impressed because looking at the audience themselves, they seem to be all wearing suits, well dressed too. So it could mean that he's in a professional setting where he's giving a speech towards different or other people who are professionals themselves. And the fact that he was able to capture their interest, and not only that, get them to applaud and give him appraisal after his speech, is something that I would say fits the bill in terms of proper communication. On top of that, looking at the diverse nature of the audience, I am well surprised that he was able to lay out his message in a way that makes every person with their own ethnicity or background or so on and so forth understand him loud and clear. Overall, I would say that the speaker himself definitely applied uh, proper, definitely applied skills that are used for proper communication. Well, that would be all for today. Thank you so much for your time. Hopefully, I was able to lay out the information or message clearly with proper articulation. Please excuse me if I said anything out of the ordinary or if I had uh, grammatical errors, as the act of conversing for me is still new, especially on camera. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum and have a great day.